Councillor Hurer.
Thank you, Worship. Now, I do recognise that funding, that there are funding challenges, and that sitting back and doing nothing is, of course, not an option. However, by way of background, one should remember that when Labour took over from us in May 2010, we left them with the coffers full, unlike the Labour government when the Conservative coalition took over and they left the country bankrupt. Where we left them with a solid foundation which ensured that you only had to make non-controversial and soft decisions in your initial savings round of 75 million in the first 4 years of office. However, had you made the tougher decisions right from the outset, the cumulative effect of these savings, Your Worship, would have meant that this administration would not be in a position today where it now has to face, where it faces funding gaps of over 80 million in the next 4 years. Now, we do obviously welcome the efficiency savings expected to be made from the changes in practices as listed in the recommendation, but I do have a few concerns. One of them is the fact that so much of this is going to be done under delegated powers and not being brought back to full council. And I note that the expected savings are significant, but again, the detail is missing. And I also recognise why there should be a partnership approach to going forward. But if I can refer to perhaps the first statement on page 65, and I'll read this out if I may. The Council continues to make savings by doing things in new and innovative ways to ensure smarter use of budgets, buildings and staff. However, the scale of funding reductions we now face on top of the cuts we have already experienced mean that efficiency savings alone will not be enough. As a result, we have to make some very difficult decisions about the services we deliver and how these services are delivered. The problem is these difficult decisions are not set out in the report. There's just a bland statement saying we have to do them. For example, we've already had one where Cabinet Member for Environment has decided he wants to keep the park gates open to save £30,000. So that's perhaps one of the difficult decisions that wasn't consulted on, tried to slip it through, and we've got members of the public here tonight. Is another future library closures. We have a library statute that could be the foretaste of some library closures coming up. Again, another difficult decision just glossed over in this report. Now, there are two clues however, in further along, page 66, property implications. Again, this could be a prelude to the wholesale sale of council property. Pages 71 and 72 give us a further slight clue as to what is proposed with respect to council staff. I also note, Your Worship, that this administration is using accounting tricks to switch funds from the capital programme to finance these changes by capitalising £10.2 million of the cost. What I would see as revenue items, Your Worship, not capital. Now they're doing this because they've got no money in the revenue account, so they have to do some accounting tricks to treat these expenditures as capital so it can be moved from the capital programme. Cooking in the box, Your Worship, the cabinet member should be on MasterChef. I do have one more issue, Your Worship.
Keep a straight face.
Now, again, what appears to be a bland one-line statement near the end of the report could have a profound effect on all of us. Page 74, Your Worship, maximise income where it is cost-effective to do so. Now, that may mean not a lot to most people, but to me, it means the following. We have had some changes already regarding to this. We've had the introduction of the landlord's registration scheme to somehow bump up this administration's coffers. We've got the community infrastructure levy and all the inequalities within the system that has been forced on us to bump up this administration's coffers. We've had the parking charges have been increased to bump up this administration's coffers. The introduction of payments for lost or stolen bins to bump up this administration's coffers. Increased charges for home collection of large items for disposal, which has meant more dumping on our streets to increase this administration's coffers. But what else? What else is coming through? Again,
30 seconds, Councillor Hurer.
Increasing commercial rents for our tenants, increasing planning fees, application fees, charging for Wi-Fi in libraries, increasing the council tax perhaps This is a blank cheque, Your Worship, and because there's no details, I will not be supporting the report.